Good morning, Kasam teachers. How was your summer? Good, good. I hope everyone had a wonderful summer and a relaxing summer and they're energized for the school year because I know our students are so excited to see all of you. I know I had a good summer. And to start off with our professional development, we will be talking about confidentiality. And for those who do not know, I am the school counselor. This is my second year as a school counselor. I am responsible for guidance lessons, individual, small group, and whole group counseling. I am currently in the principal certification. This is part of my practicum, and so I will be presenting on confidentiality today. We are going to start off with a video, and then we are going to have a discussion.
You've been accused of practicing medicine without a license. It's a very grave charge, son. Are you aware that it's unlawful to practice medicine without a medical license?
Yes, sir, I am.
Are you aware that running a medical clinic without the proper licensing can place both you and the public in a great deal of danger?
Is a home a clinic, sir?
If you are admitting patients and treating them, physical location is irrelevant.
Sir, will you define treatment for me?
As treatment would be defined as the care of a patient seeking medical attention. Have you been treating patients, Mr. Adams?
Sir, I live with several people. They come and go as they please. I offer them whatever help I can.
Mr. Adams, have you or have you not been treating patients at your ranch?
Everyone who comes to the ranch is a patient, yes. And every person who comes to the ranch is also a doctor.
I'm sorry.
Every person who comes to the ranch is in need of some form of physical or mental help. They're patients. But also every person who comes to the ranch is in charge of taking care of someone else. Whether it's cooking for them, cleaning them, or even a simple task as listening. That makes them doctors. I use that term broadly, gentlemen, but is not a doctor someone who helps someone else? When did the term doctor get treated with such reverence as, oh, right this way, Dr. Smith, or, excuse me, Dr. Scholes, what wonderful foot pads, or, pardon me, Dr. Pedersen, but your flatulence has no odor. At what point in history did a doctor become more than a trusted and learned friend who visited and treated the ill? Now, you ask me if I've been practicing medicine. Well, if this means opening your door to those in need, those in pain, caring for them, listening to them, applying a cold cloth until a fever breaks, if this is practicing medicine, if this is treating a patient, then I am guilty as charged, sir.
Did you consider the ramifications of your actions? What if one of your patients had died?
What's wrong with death, sir? What are we so mortally afraid of? Why can't we treat death with a certain amount of humanity and dignity and decency and, God forbid, maybe even humor? Death is not the enemy, gentlemen. If we're going to fight a disease, let's fight one of the most terrible diseases of all, indifference. Now, I've sat in your schools and heard people lecture on transference and professional distance. Transference is inevitable, sir. Every human being has an impact on another. Why don't we want that in a patient-doctor relationship? That's why I've listened to your teachings, and I believe they're wrong. A doctor's mission should be not just to prevent death, but also to improve the quality of life. That's why you treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win, no matter what.
Okay, so I'm sure a few of you guys have seen Patch Adams. If not, that is a clip that shows you the ethics that he went through. Is it an ethical dilemma, or was he correct? So what I would like for you to do is discuss this with your table. I'm going to give you about 45 seconds to a minute to discuss it. Okay, so I went around to each of y'all's tables and I noticed that you guys all said that yes, it is an ethical dilemma, even though it was from the bottom of his heart to make things better. But just like in medical field, there is ethical dilemmas and certain confidentiality that matters in school. And this will be on the following slide. Okay, so as a counselor, this is what I go by. It says, what you say in here stays in here, except when someone is hurting you, you want to hurt someone, or you want to hurt yourself. So there are reasons why you would break confidentiality, which is what you will see later, but keep in mind what you are telling people. Is it gossip or is it professional information? Why does confidentiality matter? Why does your job matter? There are different laws that are called IDEA, FERPA, and PPRA. We're going to talk about IDEA first. Okay. IDEA stands for Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and it was brought about in 2004. It applies to programs that receive funding from the U.S. Department of Education. It ensures equity, accountability, and excellence in education for children with disabilities. It outlines special education procedures and specific special education protocols and files that are confidential and protected also by FERPA. So we'll be talking about FERPA next. FERPA was passed in 1974 and it stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. All schools who receive money from the U.S. Department of Education must follow FERPA. It provides parents certain rights with respect to their child's educational records. Now, what is PPRA? PPRA is Protection of Pupil Rights Amendments. It applies to programs that receive funding from the U.S. Department of Education. It protects students and parents by ensuring schools make instructional materials available to parents for protection if they will be used in an educational analysis or survey or evaluation. And also, it ensures that the school obtains parental consent before minor students participate in these surveys, evaluations, or analysis. So, as you can see, you must follow the law. You have to follow the law, and that is just our right as a citizen. So if you break the law, you can guarantee there will be consequences. So what are educational records? It is a student's record, documents, files. It can be anything that can you can look at anything and say, okay, this is what identifies the student. There are different exceptions to what an educational record is. There are teacher notes, like a seating chart, or maybe you're taking a note on ABC, what happens before a behavior, what happens during or after. That's observation for you to see what is best for your classroom. Law enforcement records, whatever the school has, you cannot just go through it because that's their personal information. And a personal memory aid, just like I said, mentioned earlier, it has to do with the seating chart. There are different examples of student records, which I said we would go over later, which is now. There's the IEP, which is the Individual Educational Plan of the student. There are emails, test protocols, attendance records, honors and awards, home addresses. Can you guys think of anything else? Yes, phone numbers. Yes, very good, guys. You guys are doing good. We're almost done. We only have about 6 more minutes. Okay, so as far as emails, it can contain personal identifiable information of students, which is why we always say don't use the student's name, their first name, their last name. We always try to use initials so they won't be identified by other people. As far as test protocols, there's special education instruments, there's answer documents, questions, anything that can identify a student, which is maintained by the school district, it's classified as an educational record. So we're about to do an activity. I'm about to put y'all in groups of 5. And if you look underneath your seat, I already did that. So if you see a 1, you're going to go over here, a 2 over there, 3 over there, 4 back here, and 5, you're going to meet in the middle. So you're going to have little baggies on your tables and in your corners. And there are different types of characteristics. As you can see, there are things such as gender, favorite color, favorite movie, or home address. And so what you're going to do is you're going to separate them into what you think should be confidential and what could not be confidential. Now keep in mind there are certain things that people don't want people to know, like favorite color. But when we're thinking about confidential, we're trying to think of things that are easily can identify a person. So we're going to put those into different categories. Okay, I'm going to give y'all about a minute or so to do that. And the team who gets it all correct wins a prize. Okay, so I have walked around and I noticed that some people are correct, some groups are not, so I'm about to put y'all in groups and I want you guys to compare and contrast your answers. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds and try to have a brief discussion on why you believe it's personal identifiable information or not. Okay, so yes, favorite color, that's not confidential. I mean, yes, some people might not want to know people to know that, but it's not confidential. But their name, their phone number, their home address, different things like that, those are easily identifiable information. And the winner, by the way, is group 3. Woo-hoo. Y'all can come on down and get some candy. Okay, so we are going back to who has access to these educational records. Students who are 18 or above and parents of minors. So of course that's 18 and below. These are people who have access to the educational records. Their rights. So parents or adults, young adults, which is 18 or above, they have the right to request an interpretation of records. If they don't understand it, then they can request the record.